Good afternoon. It is Tuesday, November 8th, 2022. When I was small, I used to enjoy watching the old-timey cartoons. And in those old-timey cartoons, you would occasionally see the main character struggling with a decision. And all of a sudden, there would pop up on his shoulder a little angel likeness on one side and a little devil likeness on the other side. And they both had the face of the main character. And they're both whispering into the main character's ears, trying to sway them toward either good or evil. And when I was a little kid, I thought that was funny and be looking for those little characters on either side. But then I realized that actually has a biblical precedent. I'm reading today from Galatians chapter 5, verses 16 to 18. And I'm reading from the New Living Translation, second edition. So I say, let the Holy Spirit guide your lives. Then you will not be doing what your sinful nature craves. The sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other, so you are not free to carry out your good intentions. But when you are directed by the Spirit, you are not under obligation to the law of Moses. He says, let the Holy Spirit guide you. Now, a guide is more than just a signpost. A guide does more than point the direction out. A guide is more than a map. A map just plots a course for you. A guide walks with you and goes with you and shows you the right way to go. It is a sense of togetherness when you go with a guide. The Holy Spirit is your guide so that you're going to the same place that the Holy Spirit wants you to go. And then he remarks that the sinful nature has cravings. Oh, you understand the power of a craving when you want something so bad and it seems like you can't be satisfied. You can't find happiness without satisfying that craving. And sometimes we do all kinds of really stupid things to satisfy our cravings. And yet, the sinful nature craves what it wants because it wants us to do evil. But the Spirit wants us to do good. And they both give us desires. And how important it is that we follow the Holy Spirit's guidance and fulfill the Holy Spirit's desires and tamper and put down and ignore our sinful nature desires. These two forces are constantly fighting, Paul says. You ever gone on a long road trip with your family? And if you have two kids in the back seat, you're going to hear such wonderful fighting words like, he's touching me, or he's breathing my air, and they'll just constantly bicker over silly, stupid stuff the whole trip until the parents have had all they can take. And dad threatens, do you want me to stop this car? And the kids don't really care whether he stops the car or not, but they know better than to respond to dad when he's making those kind of comments. But you have two kids in the back seat, there's going to be fighting. But if you just have one kid and they're in the back seat, you don't hear that kind of fighting. You're not going to pick a fight with the parents and get in trouble. There's nobody else to pick a fight with. Anytime there's two forces of nature or two sinful desires fighting with spiritual desires, you're going to have conflict and struggle and strife. And sometimes the biggest enemy we have is the little devil on our shoulder giving in to our sinful desires, taking us places we don't want to go. We need to be directed by the Spirit. and we need to feed and fulfill the spiritual desires that we can follow the guidance of the Spirit. May you be guided by the Spirit this week. God bless you.